Hello, everyone, and welcome to the official Zen Project 8 coaching experience. I'm Cassiah Jay. I want to welcome all of you who are joining in for tonight's hangout. I am coming to you live from Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania with my family, so my niece Addison is going to be joining me for the beginning of this show. I wanted to invite you guys to watch from hangouts.zenproject8.com. Be sure to leave your questions, comments, and feedback in that sidebar. As always, I'm here with our featured speaker of the evening, the one and only New York Times bestselling author, celebrity fitness and nutrition expert, and our Zen brand ambassador, Mark MacDonald. Hi, Mark.
Hello, Cassiah. I love that Addie's rocking it with us. What's up, Addie?
Zen. It's so fun. Yeah, this is what it's all about. So tonight we're actually talking family, how to rock the Zen Project with your family. So I thought it was super appropriate. All right. Before we get started, guys, a couple of quick housekeeping notes. Remember, go to zenproject8.com to get more information about how you and your friends, family, people you know, love, and care about can get started on the program. We also wanted to invite you to join our Facebook community. Very important that you go there. Make sure you read that pinned post at the top because it will give you your top steps in getting started in our program. Also, as always, just a friendly reminder for all of you that our group is a safe zone for everybody. So we want to make sure, just don't be promoting your websites, no branded hashtags, etc. Let's keep that a really safe zone. I also want to give a special shout out to our first 100 transformations that we've been featuring on the show the past couple of weeks. So congratulations to all of you and to everyone who's been a part of our program. We want to remind you guys that each week we'll be featuring 2 to 3 more success stories starting tonight with our very special family winners. We've got joining us the Ruiz family. So hello, Amanda and Tio and their 5 children. Hello, guys. Say hi, guys.
Hi. What's great is the Reese family is they are Amanda's down 40 pounds, Tio's down 30 pounds, and the whole thing, as you said, Cassiah, is about the family experience. So can we give a big shout out to 5 kids there, Amanda, Tio? Come on, make some noise.
Can you guys make some noise? Let's hear you guys. Say what?
I love it. That's what the chaos is about. Look, she muted it already. So everyone, ZP8 family, stay tuned. At the end of the show, Cassiah and I are going to do a great interview with the Reese family. Amanda and Tia are going to share their strategies. As you can see, 5 kids, craziness, and that's what this theme is about. How can the family rock ZP8? Cassiah, you ready for that?
I am so ready. So, Addison, you're going to go. She wants to go play now. So say goodbye to everybody.
Bye.
Bye. That is so fun. You know, Mark, that's one thing I love so much about our program and why I think tonight's show is going to be so important. We are talking about how do you do this with a family. I don't have my own kids, but I am visiting with my sister, and she's got 2 little ones, and so it can be tough, right? So I'm so excited to hear from our featured speaker tonight because it is about a lifestyle. It is about, not just taking those 8 weeks, but really how are we training our minds and our family and teaching this healthy lifestyle and passing it on. So I'm super excited to hear what you're going to share with us on tonight's show.
Yeah, and the other thing is that, this isn't just about if you have kids. This is if you have a significant other, if you're rocking it with a spouse. I know you're married. So it's all about how do we make this work together as a family. That's the key. Indeed.
Okay. I'm trying to follow the agenda, so I've got to get back on point here. Sorry. I know I'm totally off, right? But that's what makes our shows so much fun. Okay, so rapid Q&A, we talked about returning next week because I know people love that segment, right? So we're going to work on bringing that back into the show flow. But tonight we need to talk about how to really get started. I know we're going to talk with our winners, but you have 3 strategies, right? And they're absolutely remarkable. I know we saw them in the training videos that you and I had done together. So why don't you just share those top 3 strategies that you have for really making it work, whether it is a spouse, a family, whatever it is that you're going through in your life. How do we make it work?
Can I do one thing before we dive into those 3 strategies, Cassiah?
You got it. What is it?
So everyone, it's interesting. Every Monday I dive into our ZP8 community. I see all the posts and the questions, and there's one question that stuck out to me. And this amazing lady said she was very frustrated because she's only dropped 1 pound in the Ignite phase, and she's not moving as fast as she wanted to as she did in the detox phase. And I replied that, look, weight is only part of the equation. And then about 2 hours later, I got a text from a producer at CNN showing me a new New York Times blog that came out about The Biggest Loser, about how every contestant from season 8 regained all their weight 6 years later, and they did this long study on it, and they showed how anyone can lose weight, but the key is, what does it really take to keep your metabolism going? And then once that article came out and I posted that in the group, I got a bunch of texts from people doing it, and they're saying, this is why we want to do it, because we're not just starving ourselves, we're actually increasing our metabolism. So what I wanted to share with everyone is this little quote right here. And I just want you to think about that everything we're doing, it's not just about the moment, and it's not just about weight. The number on the scale shows a small piece to your entire health picture. So I want you to visualize your entire picture that you want. And if your focus is a number, you will always struggle with your weight. See, that's what our movement is. It's not about a number on the scale. It's a piece of it. It's not about how many inches you lose. That's a piece of it. It's not just about if you lose some body fat or if you just start feeling better and have more energy. It's all of it together. Our movement is about us working as a unit, educating you by balancing your blood sugar, implementing the right products to support and fill your gaps, and having the community to allow it to become a forever transformation. When my first book came out, Cassiah, my first New York Times bestseller, Body Confidence, came out in 2011. There was another book that came out called The 17A Diet. And we are battling back and forth, 1 and 2 on Amazon for the books. And I know many people who took the 17A diet, and I know many people who were doing blood sugar. And what I see 5 years later is many of those people that focused on calorie deprivation regained everything. Now, not saying if you do blood sugar you can't regain it. No, you can. But we're teaching more than just losing weight, calorie deprivation. We are teaching you how to make this a lifestyle. What I can tell you is that when people balance their blood sugar and they implement these strategies, 80 to 90% will keep the weight off and make this into a lifestyle. And the tools are there. And the ones who don't, it's because they enter into this program as a diet. And that's my invitation when I see these posts in the groups. This is not a diet, this is a lifestyle. You have to realize that every single day it's about making sure that you're eating consistently, that you're diversifying your food, that you're reaching out to your support, that you're doing the things that are going to increase your muscle mass, decrease your body fat, and if you are building muscle, you are increasing your metabolic speed. That article I posted in the New York Times, we talk about the people regaining the weight, is because they did dieting and they lost muscle. So our program can become a difference maker to people. It can change how people look at food for the rest of their life. And when I talked on CNN today, and I talked on CNN International today, and I shared this, that's what we're doing. This movement is beyond you. It's something that it starts with you, and together we can lead forever change. So remember, the scale, the number on that is just a piece to the equation. Sound good, Cassiah?
Oh, indeed it does. It's so funny. While you were talking, I was like, oh, I have this perfect image, so I'm going to try to dig it up while you're interviewing Amanda, but it says the same thing. It's like the scale might tell you a number, but it doesn't tell you, how your kids love and adore you and how the people around you, like the meaning that you bring into this world. So a lot of times we find our identity in a number on a scale, which is absolutely ridiculous. So thank you, Mark, for bringing that to the show tonight. I know we do want to get started, and you do have 3 great strategies on really how to make it work. How do people do it? So
yeah. So when you think about, when we talked about ZP8 for a family and for friends, 3 simple things. Now, there's going to be many things we're going to dive into, but when we first start with this, is the number 1 is going to be leading by example, where it has to first start with you. So when I keep thinking about leading by example, this is my favorite quote, and leading by example, when I look at it, it comes back, and I just got to pull it up so I can see it myself here too, is that be the example of health you want to inspire the ones you love to be. At the end of the day, it all starts with you. So the number 1 strategy out of the 3 is that it starts with you. I cannot tell you how many kids that parents have brought their kids to me to coach them through the years about, hey, my child needs to lose weight, or my spouse needs to lose weight, whatever it is, a significant other that they wanted them to get healthy. And the question I'd say is, what about you? How do you expect people that you love to take on their health if you're not willing to do the work yourself? That's why I love the Reese family, because I'll start with Amanda, move to TO, now it drives into the kids, and now into their community. So the number one strategy is that it has to start with you. The second strategy is about loving your food, enjoying your food, and you're going to do that through your grocery shopping, through your mobile readiness food kit. See, this is when I see the Reese family and I saw those 5 kids in the background, and Cassiah, when you talk about your 2 nieces and nephew, and you talk about Dan, every day's chaotic. So when we start thinking about how do you make real life strategies work, once you get the plan, once you understand the detox, ignite, thrive phase, and most kids would want to do the thrive phase, as you're diving into that and you have the plan, grocery shopping days, MRFK, and I got a couple images I want to share with you. So you're leading by examples, and now we talk about grocery shopping. And this is Hope and Hunter grocery shopping. So one picture is of Hope grocery shopping where Abby took her there. The other one's of Hunter when we were in Orlando at the convention in January when we did launched the beta of Zen, and Hunter went shopping with me and we got the water. That was when we were on the road. The one with Abby and Hope is when she was shopping at a fresh market right here at our house. So it's all about making sure that you're setting up a weekly grocery shopping. The second thing is, and I showed Amanda this and she loved this, and this is something I want you to keep thinking about. We made this visual. Now I think you guys will love it. I think you'll love this one, Cassiah. This is when we talk about winning your food frenzy. And when I think about when you're out there and you don't have a preparation and you have low blood sugar and you're starving, we call the fast food chaos, where you got everyone in the car,
kid in the back,
kids going crazy, wrappers on the floor. That's the fast food chaos. But then the MRFK calmness is when you actually have food prepared. And every weekend, Hunter had 6 soccer games this weekend. I had my own cooler. I had Hunter's cooler. And then Abby brought her cooler for her and Hope because they bring their own car because we have a baby. But all of this thing is, I know it takes a little bit more work, but loving your food and owning your food as your second strategy is making sure that you have food stocked in your house for you, your kids, your spouse, your significant other, and also making sure that when you're on the go, living your busy world, you're not being hostage to the fast food chaos. You have the MRFK calmness. So those are our first 2. Any feedback on that before I dive into our third strategy and then we get to the Reese family?
That's a perfect visual, and I'm cracking up about it. I mean, even the kid in the backseat who's just completely crazed. There's trash everywhere. Like, I mean, that is so typical, right? But the calmness, balancing your blood sugar, showing your kids what it's like to eat healthy, choosing fruit over French fries. These are simple choices, guys, that we can make, and it does matter what we eat, how we treat our bodies, whether or not, as parents and as role models, we are really leading by examples. So far I'm loving it. Mark, what's next?
So the last one is living your exercise together. So you have leading by example, you have loving your food and owning your food, and then you have living your exercise together. And this would be my invitation to every single person on this webcast and anyone who watches the replay, is list out 5 different things that you can do together. And I'm going to give you examples of what we do. Whether it's walking, going for a walk after dinner, whether it's hiking in the mountains, whether it's playing tennis together, whether it's I call it being a watcher or a doer, where your kids are actually, when they're out exercising, doing it, there's many soccer fields we go to and there's a track there, or there's just a big grass field and the parents are out there walking, so they're doing as their child's doing. But 2 great examples that we do as a family, I'm going to give you some pictures here. First thing is, this is when we cycle together as a family. So we have a baby, we have 11-year-old Hunter, and then we have a little baby Hope, and we used to all 3 go together, but now I have my mountain bike and I have the little stroller that goes along to it, and we go together as a family. We make this as an adventure. I remember last summer we did a 30-day road trip. On my 4Runner, I got the bike rack. We brought our bikes. Hunter and I, Hunter, Abby, me, and Hope, we all went through Washington, D.C. on our bikes together. So it's finding activity that you can do together. I see you smile there, Cassiah.
I love it. I don't know how many people can take 30 days off from work to do 30 days, but I applaud you. And I love seeing pictures of your family, which I think are great. But one thing I wanted to add to this is what I find, too, is it's not so much what you buy your kids, right? Because stuff comes and goes. They always want more things. It's the time that you get to spend with them. So if you can find ways just to, toss the ball with them, play Frisbee. The kids love to go outside and just play kickball or walk around the neighborhood or ride bikes or whatever it is. They do just love that. So get outside, enjoy the weather, stay active together, I think is just absolutely fantastic. And you know what, Mark? I can't think of a family that does this better than our special guest this evening.
Exactly. And when we look at this, though, this was actually in a greenway in our area. And there's one more I want to share. Sports. So when we look at sports, find sports that you love, whether it's tennis, whether it's dodgeball, whether it's racquetball, whatever it is. Hunter and I love soccer together. So we actually train together and we play sports together. So these are the things you want to do. I know you and Dan do stuff together, Cassiah. So it's always about finding that. This is what we want, and this is why the Reese family is a perfect example of this. The three things, you got to first lead by example. The second thing is you got to love and own your food by grocery shopping, having an MRFK. And the third thing is you got to live your exercise together, and that's by finding 5 different types of activities that you can do as a family or with your significant other that lets you live your health together. Because I know you and Dan. Give me 3 things you and Dan do together.
We always try to spend time together. So one thing in particular is we like to leave our phones at home when we say, hey, do you want to go for a walk? So sometimes if we can't get to a nice park or if we can't get somewhere, it's just around our neighborhood. We live in a great community and there's all kinds of shopping just very close by. And so sometimes we'll get out and walk. So we definitely love to stay active. We always go to the gym together. As a matter of fact, once a week we have an off-plan meal, and beforehand, just so that we quote-unquote earn it, we always go to the gym together. That's our time, and regardless of if we work out together, we still make it a point to, as a couple, go to the gym and then come back. So, and we also plan our meals together because it just makes it more simple. So I'm not eating something and he's not eating something. It's like this is what we're going to have for the week, so we're very good with preparation. But yeah, activities, I mean, anything that we can do together. We like to stay active, and we both travel, so even when we're on the road, we make it a point to work out as well.
I love that. So everyone on the webcast tonight, everyone watches the replay, please go to the Facebook group, and just like Cassiah did and just like I did, post 1 to 3 things that you do with your friends or your family that allows you to rock your food and exercise together. If we get enough people sharing that stuff, now we're giving everyone different ideas, and that's truly how we prevent people from gaining back what they lose. Actually, they can evolve into a lifestyle. So are we ready for our drum roll when we bring on the Reese family?
Drum roll! I'm excited to bring on our family winner of our first 100 Project 8.
Yes, so. And look at this picture. So this family I started following when we started doing the beta, and I started because I just would look at all of the different types of transformations. And then I started seeing Amanda post her pictures. And then I started seeing her post about T.O. And then I started seeing her posts about the difference she's making in the community. When we talked about our first winners of our first 100, because thousands of transformations are coming. But when we look at that of all of the people who submitted, this to me was the most powerful family. Because as you saw with the 5 kids, as you saw with all of it, you look at the before and the now, and then a couple more pictures before we dive in. Let me bring this one up. This is one of my favorite ones from Amanda here. Is her with her. You see that she was, I think, in 18 and 20. She's now 12 to 14. Wow. So what a difference of those genes. And then the last one that we want to bring in, let me get there, is let's get a little picture of her of their 5 children. T.O. put this nice together for us, where we look at all 5 kids right there rocking it with them, all different things, active and living life. And you look at the different ages, and you just see the chaos that can be when you have that many children and they're making their health work and they're involving their kids in it. So without further ado, let's all welcome the Reese family. Amanda, T.O., you there?
Can you hear us?
We can. Cassiah, you want to ask the first question with them?
Sure, absolutely. Hi and welcome. It's so good to have you guys. Thank you for joining the Hangout. Congratulations on your remarkable success. I've been following your journey for quite some time. I love following your food recipes and your awesome pictures that you post in the group. You guys look remarkable. Like, you actually look 10 years younger, so the health and vitality is all over your faces. You look incredible. But first question, we want to hear from you guys. We want to know, what was your defining moment? What made you guys decide to say, you know what, yes to Project 8. We are going to do this, and we are going to do this as a family. And then we also would love to hear your results so far. So fill us in.
Okay, so for me, I started using the products in November, just kind of watching what I was eating, but really just kind of using the products, not really knowing what I was going to do, but just kind of trying it out that way. And then when I saw that there was going to be the Project 8, like a real system that I could follow, then I was like, okay, game on. Like, let's do this. I was excited.
What about for you, Tio?
For myself, we had done different diets together, competitions, but I think one of the big things for me is over the summer, last summer, I had injured my back, and for about 6 months, I just had different sorts of pains in my back and my leg, and I just wanted something that would allow me to be active as I wanted to be, to do lifting, to run with my kids instead of just sitting down and saying, well, I can't do it today, I'm in pain. So I wanted something that would allow me to be active and not just necessarily just lose weight. I wanted to be strong to play with my kids. So that was a change. That was a change for me.
And what have been the results so far for you guys? So, you know, we're 5 months in or 6 months in. Kind of walk us through what has happened. Give us your external results, and then also give us what you've been able to do with your family.
Okay. So we've lost together 70 pounds, but beyond that, it's knowing we're doing this as a family. It's knowing that people are seeing the changes that are happening, not just with ourselves, but with our kids, and they're asking, what's going on? What are you doing? And that we're able to offer that to other families. So I think sometimes, you know, when you've been heavy your whole life, you don't see the results that you're having. You don't, even though the clothes are different, you know, that picture that you have of me, I still don't always see that. I don't see the progress. So those pictures are important for me to remember, like, I'm still on my mission, but I've accomplished a lot so far. We've accomplished a lot so far. But people are noticing, and in that we're able to help other people, and that's huge for me. That's so important to me. It's important to both of us.
Yeah. And I think for myself, because you had mentioned earlier about the difference between just losing weight and being healthy. Like I've done things before and I lost weight, but I didn't really feel healthy. I just felt weak. I felt like, well, okay, I hit this number, but there was nothing really to it. So for me, the number that I look at is more of my body fat percentage. So I went from a 50% body fat to 35% body fat. And for me, that's the real number, because that tells me that my body is changing, that it's not just that I'm losing muscle along with the fat, that I'm gaining muscle and I'm losing the fat at the same time. That's allowing me to get within that healthy range. And so we just want to teach our kids to be healthy, not to worry about, oh, how much do you weigh at this point or anything like that, but how do you live a healthy life? How are you practicing the virtue of temperance in your life, with your food, with your exercise, instead of being crazy about everything? It makes it a part of your normal life.
And when you guys talk about where you are with your health, and I love, Tio, what you just said with that, because that just supports what I talked earlier about with The Biggest Loser. The challenges that happen when people lose weight fast is they lose muscle and fat. And what we understand is that every pound of muscle fuels your metabolism. So if you lose 50 pounds, but 10 pounds of that's muscle, you actually have a slower metabolic speed. And that's what that article showed. So what you're doing by shifting your body composition, you're losing fat, which is going to be you're losing fat and you're gaining lean body mass. so your results become permanent. Now the results, you've started with you, Amanda, then went to TO, evolved to the kids. Now, what are you doing in the community? That's what really inspired me, what I saw you doing in the community. Share with everyone that.
So we've just reached out to our kids' school. We still have to get everything finalized, but we reached out to the kids' school to offer this to families. And we have different ideas of how we can do it. But we want to show them how we can eat, how Mexicans eat. We still have, I know you like tacos, Cassiah. I know you're honorary Mexican with your tacos. So I want it to be something that we can still hold on to our culture, but change some of the things and pass on a real legacy to our kids that allows them to see, you can still hold on to the things that, there's emotion with food, the gatherings that we have, but we can do it in a way that we can still be healthy and we can still have a good time, and, we can dance, because if you don't have enough energy, you can't dance. So, and that's important. Come on. So.
I love that. Tio, did you have anything you wanted to add to that?
I think also, because I know for at least us, extended family is a very huge part of our lives. Every Sunday we go to church, and then we go and we eat with my family and other people who are good friends. And it's how do you make a difference even when you want to get together? How do you make a difference even oh, you need to eat this, you need this, but just being an example and allowing people to see that example, and then they ask questions well, how did you do that? And then you teach them. And it's really about being open about what you're doing, and showing that you don't have to sacrifice your entire life. You can still get together, but you just change the way that you think of, oh, I'm not going to eat a huge handful of chips today. Maybe I'll just have a snack here or there, but staying within the parameters that I know I need to stay in. And we just had a birthday party for my son, and nobody noticed that the cake, the recipe was different. Nobody noticed that the dip was different. Nobody noticed that we used less salt in the food, and yet they still had a good time, and they were like, wow, this is delicious. And they didn't even know that we had changed everything. So
that is awesome. So leading by example for sure. And actually, I love the tips that you just gave. That is so true. Just sometimes those small changes over time are what gives you, such incredible results. So, our community, what can you share? What's the best advice you guys could give to other families who are really struggling right now, struggling with their health? If you could say, the number one thing that really helped for us is this, what would that be?
I think the number one thing for myself is being patient with the progress, with the change, that it's not going to be some overnight crazy diet that's only lasting for 8 weeks, but knowing that this is a lifestyle thing, and because it's a whole lifetime, then we have time to make those small progressive steps. So for me, that's the biggest thing.
I think for myself, it's helping people to understand the economics of their food. If we go out to eat, even if we just, we go to the restaurant, I'm spending at least $60 to $70 just to feed the family, and that's with kids' meals and the drinks and everything else. And I think if I was just to go to the grocery store and I was to actually make food, I can easily feed us for a week on $70 rather than just one meal. And so a lot of times we use the excuse, oh, well, the vegetables are expensive or the meat's expensive, but how much are we really spending on the fast food that we're eating? And we're doing that day after day after day.
You know what I love about this is that, Amanda, that you have one vision of it, and then Tio, you have another vision of it, and both of your points are so relevant. Like when you talk about, Amanda, your experience, and then Tio, you talk about the economics of it. These are all real pressing issues. And I love the kids in the background, by the way. I mean, that's what this segment is all about. They're screaming, everyone's laughing. I love that.
We get it, right? We totally get it.
Well, I just want to say, I personally, you know my mission with families and what you guys have brought to the community, the difference you're making. It's everything that I want. I grew up watching my mom eat her diet foods and we eat the normal foods. So the difference that you're making, not only for your own family, with each other, with your kids, in your community, touches my heart more than you could ever imagine. And I want to thank you from the bottom of my heart for being part of this movement, for being part of this project. We love you guys, and I'm very excited for us to have the opportunity to share your story with the world. So thank you.
Right on. Yeah, I want to follow that up and just say thank you for creating such awareness. Thank you for an elevated sense of consciousness, which is what I'm hearing you say in terms of, oh, now you're looking at what you're actually spending on your food and making those shifts, making those changes. So it is elevating our consciousness and having a deeper understanding of food, the nutritional value of food, how we can feed our families and do it in a way that is more healthy and better for a long-term plan for our families. So congratulations to you guys. Keep sharing those amazing tips with all of us in our group. We love hearing from you guys. And as a matter of fact, for those of you who are watching, next week we are talking about bringing flavor and life into your ZP8 meals. So I don't know, Mark, we might have to invite Amanda back on. She's got some pretty killer recipes in the group.
She does. I saw the food level raise. I mean, we have a lot of all-star competitions, and we have a special guest next week. We have a great transformational guest, but we also have a chef that's going to be coming on and giving you her 5 top tips on how to make all food taste great. And that's the power. Remember, if your food is boring, guess what, Cassiah? You quit.
That's
so
right.
you got to make sure your food is great as well as your shakes.
Right on. All right, and I'll leave you guys with this. The scale will only tell you the numerical value of your gravitational pull. It will not tell you how beautiful you are, how much your friends and family love you, or how amazing you are. I want to thank our special guest for joining us this evening. Mark, as always, thank you so much for being our ambassador. And all right, guys, if you like this show, make sure you share it. We'll see you over in the Facebook group, and we'll see you right here next Monday night at hangouts.zenproject8.com. Thanks so much for watching. Bye-bye.
Thanks. Bye.
Hugs.